All right, guys, thank you for jumping on today. This is today's training is going to be generating more business. Today's date is the 3rd of February, 2022. All right, guys, so how to generate better and more consistent business, buyers and sellers. All right, so I think it's very important that the first thing we recognize is, yes, we sell houses, yes, we sell a product, but we sell it to people, and people are very emotionally and financially attached to the product that we sell. All right, so I think it's very important that you remember that. And so the first slide, or the first bullet point here is real estate is all about people. All right, and yes, we sell houses, however, people buy from people. So it's very important to understand, don't lose that personal touch. If you want to be successful in real estate, you need to have lots of personal touches and be very good at being a personable person when you're applying your trade and your skill. All right. So people buy from people they know, like, and trust. Okay, that's what's important about this too. They don't just buy from any old person, typically. All right. Buyers and sellers are a little bit different. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we move through. Yeah, so it's also important to understand that people buy from people who they know, like, and trust, and also who their sphere of influence, friends and family, know, like, and trust. Okay, so referral business is as important as the business that you can generate as one individual. All right, so don't forget to work and rework your social sphere, as well as your family ties, aunts, uncles, sisters, cousins, brothers. Everybody knows somebody, and it's very easy to generate business through other or influence buyers and sellers who are friends and family of your family. Okay.
Oh, what's up? Oh,
Sorry. We'll cut it out. Who is it?
Manuel Diaz.
Oh, Manny
With
Fresh.
the haircut, with the fresh cut.
Ooh, looking good, Manny. What up, bud? All right. So, jumping back in. Give me a second. Thanks for joining us, Manny. Appreciate that. All right, guys. So, jumping back in is listers or lasters. Okay, that's kind of just a phrase that I've come to know in the industry, and what that kind of represents is that the listing side of the real estate game is the more productive side, and it's a little bit easier to control and predict as well. Okay, we kind of know when we're approaching a listing how long listings are taking to sell, how long once we're under contract things are taking to get to closing, what the obstacles are, all that kind of stuff. When you have a buyer, you don't have all that certainty. You don't know exactly how many offers you're going to need to write, or maybe you do based on the current market conditions. Right now it's a very hot market, so we know and understand that we're probably going to be writing a couple of offers for every single buyer client that we have. Whereas with the selling client, we're probably going to be reviewing multiple offers, but in probably a very short amount of time. Okay, so listers or lasters, and the reason for that is longevity with predictability. All right, so ways to generate more business with listings. Okay, so these are just opportunities for you to increase your visibility. Because the number one problem that most real estate agents have, again, talking about people, is obscurity. People don't know who you are, they don't know how to get a hold of you, and they don't know what you do to set you apart from the other people. So the more you can do, especially in social media, to outline what it is you do, what makes you different, how to get a hold of you, all that kind of stuff, the better you're gonna be. All right, so one of the opportunities that you have is to share our office listings to your social media page. Okay, so you can take, even though it's not your listing, you can take office listings and share them to your social media page. Okay, you can also share out of office listings to your social media page. Okay, so you can take a Keller Williams listing and share it to your page. You should always be sure not to portray yourself as the listing agent when you're not. Okay, so if you're not the listing agent, it's very important that you do not portray yourself as the listing agent. All right, and give credit to the listing agent and the company. All right, so my suggestion would be contact the individual if you feel like you need to, and make sure that they are okay with you utilizing their listing, okay? But even if you don't do that, just a quick listing by Ron Bloth on the Move Realty at the bottom of Manny's post would get it done. Then if Ron or anybody saw that post and had any issue with it, Manny can always say, hey, I put it on there, who it was and what company they were with, okay? I would always include that information, especially if you're dealing with a listing that is not yours, okay? But I'm gonna circle back and say that when you have listings of your own, it's a great opportunity to market, right? So that's another reason why listers are lasters, because they have something to talk about. They have something to bring to market. They have something of value that people want, okay? So they can credit themselves for having the listing once they grow their business to the point where they do have those listings, all right? You can offer to hold open houses for other intra-office listings, okay? So if I have a listing, if any one of you guys wants to have an open house and boost your own business, create an opportunity to get in front of more people, absolutely, we're gonna let you do it as long as the homeowners agree. So you can offer to hold open houses for anybody. Now that would usually be intra-office, so in-office listings, all right? But gives you an opportunity to become more visible, okay? To me, when I'm looking at it, an open house is basically a job interview, all right? I'm basically interviewing for a job. So yes, I want to sell the house that I'm holding open, but I also want to gain visibility and maybe the respect of people in that area that might be wanting to sell. If you put yourself in the shoes of a seller who doesn't know, like, and trust a realtor in the area, right? Maybe they bought their house 10 years ago and their realtor was 80 years old at the time. She's no longer in the business, right? So now they need a new real estate agent. The very first thing they're probably gonna do when they're approaching the idea of selling their home is start to interview agents. Now, they might go to Facebook or somewhere and just pick a few agents, call them and have them come on by their house. But it's kind of an awkward situation that you would have that agent who you've never met in your life in your house, right? So it would be much more advantageous for that individual to go and visit some open houses, right? On a Sunday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, and basically see how these guys are doing it, see what they're doing, how they're doing it, why they're doing it, and ask them questions and interview them in a space that isn't my house, right? If I'm the seller. So when you're gonna have an open house, you wanna dot the I's, cross the T's. You wanna make sure you look professional. You wanna make sure that you do your very best to market the property and get as many people in. And just that we actually have an entire outline of how to do an open house in our eyes. It doesn't mean that that's the only way to do an open house, but it is a very efficient and very productive way to hold an open house, and it does make the biggest splash that I can foresee. So that'll be a completely different training, but open houses are a great way for you to increase your visibility and your number of listings, okay? Also, your sellers don't tend to mind an open house. They are kind of difficult in this market because the home might be actually under contract by this weekend, okay? So we do run into that. However, it is what it is. Open houses are absolutely a great way to spend your time as a productive agent, okay? So you can establish a farm and begin to nurture your desired geographical area, okay? So this is gonna be an entire separate training as well on farming, okay? But just a quick rundown, a farm is an area that you know pretty well as an agent, okay? Most likely somewhere near either your home where it's at right now or near a path that you travel regularly, okay? So a farm could be 100, 200, 500, 1,000 homes, tract of land where they built homes. And you want to kind of zero in on what you call your farm, okay? I would say as a new agent, if you're new, maybe just 100 houses, okay? You want to sample the MLS and make sure that the turnover or the rate of sale in that community is at least 7 to 10%, okay? So 7 to 10%, if you have 100 houses, that's 7 to 10 houses per year are selling in that market, okay? Because if you're marketing to an area where these people never sell, well, you're probably not going to get any business out of that until they finally die, but then who sells the house, right? So you would market to an area, probably, as a new agent, again, I would say 100 houses, and you would drive through this area on a regular basis. You would send mailings, handwritten notes, things like that to this area on a regular basis. You would basically really kind of zero in and concentrate your efforts on this area. That would be an example of farming. And again, we will do an entire training on farming alone, but that is a great way to enhance your visibility and also increase the number of listings that you have, right? Door knocking, okay? So you could be knocking expired and withdrawn listings. You could be knocking canceled listings. You could be just knocking your farm area, okay? So that, again, those same 100 houses, you could literally, and I have done this before, just door to door, knock. Hi, I'm Doug Gallagher. I'm with On the Move Realty, help people buy, sell, and rent. I'm just wondering if you know of anybody in the area who's thinking about selling or even buying. Anybody who wants to live in this area or is going to sell from this area, okay? It seems, a lot of people are, they are a little too self-aware to allow themselves to be vulnerable in that moment. But I'm telling you right now, that door knocking is the single most effective thing that I have applied to my business ever. I've been in real estate for 7 years, and I went from almost no business to a pretty brisk business simply door knocking. Now, times were a little bit different, but it's never, ever going to be a bad idea for you to door knock. And it is the number one thing that I've ever done to increase my number of listings in my business, okay? So just keep that in mind. You got your for sale by owner, also known as your first source of business opportunity, okay? This is the low-hanging fruit. These people want to sell their own house, okay? We'll do a training on how to work with for sale by owners. Again, a lot of these are going to break down into sub-trainings, if you will. We didn't want to spend 3 hours today telling you about all the different ways to work with these people. But the reason we say it's the first source of business opportunity is this. We know they want to sell. We know that if we look at the market, if we look at the statistical data on for sale by owner homes, they sell at generally 10 to 20% less than what a real estate an agent represented home will sell for. And so it creates an opportunity for us to be able to approach them. Now you have to understand that there's probably some reason that they don't know or trust a real estate agent. Maybe they think they can do it themselves. Maybe they owe a little too much on the house and feel like the equity's not there, and they might be right. And so they feel like they can't afford to pay the real estate fees. There could be a million reasons why they're for sale by owner. But traditionally speaking, if you can get in front of them and explain to them how you can make a commission while still attaining them their bottom line, they will typically let their barriers down a little bit and at least have a conversation with you. So again, for sale by owner, first source of business opportunity. Mailing CMAs, okay? Again, this would kind of be like a farming technique. You could mail pre-drafted CMAs to an individual, to an area, to any number of things. So if maybe if a listing just expired, you would mail them a CMA on their house showing them what the potential of their house is in the marketplace in hopes to gain an opportunity to get an appointment with them. When you work with expireds, especially, it's a little bit different market than we are in right now. You don't really see too many expireds, but when you do, typically there was something that happened that went wrong. It might have been communication. It could be poor quality of photos, a very limited write-up, meaning that they didn't explain the house very well in words. It could be a number of different things, okay? Could be that the owner just was never enlightened on the idea that they have to allow showings, on a regular basis, and they just kept declining them, kept declining the showings. They were kind of tough to deal with. I mean, there's a number of things that happen. So you're, as a real estate agent, one of the things that you're looking for is problems. You know what I mean? We're problem solvers. So find the problems, figure out how to solve them. You'll increase your ability to work with these guys. So that's mailing CMAs. Networking events, okay? It says right here, networking is working. This is a people business. You build your network, okay? As a real estate agent, you probably should know a plumber, an electrician, an HVAC guy, a number of handymen, where the good auto repair shops are, you know what I mean? Because people are moving to this area in a lot of instances from other states and they don't know these things. And if you have a strong network of people that you can refer business out to, inherently those same people will refer business into you, right? If I send 15 people to Meineke a year to get their brakes done, the guy at Meineke's probably very likely to say, hey, I know a great realtor, when he meets somebody who just happened to roll into town and their brakes started squeaking while they were here, right? So just, you have to give in order to receive. And I think that we forget that a lot of times. So giving referrals out to other people will inherently bring goodwill back on you, okay? So networking is working, and don't ever, ever, ever forget that. Videos, TikToks on various topics. So people are killing it right now on TikTok, literally. And it's not just for the kids. I mean, I fall into an hour, I lose an hour a day to TikTok on certain days, not every single day, but I will, while my kid's at hockey practice, I'll peek at TikTok, and next thing you know, hockey practice is over and he's asking me, are we ready to go? You know what I mean? So it's very likely that you could slip some videos into TikTok, quick 15-second blurb on what the market's doing, on a transaction you just completed, congratulating a customer, something like that, and grab somebody's attention, okay? And get them to follow you. I would make it fun, and I would make it good information, good solid information that people can utilize in their day-to-day life, something that they didn't know if you're gonna go that route, okay? Establish a social media channel of communication. Make yourself the guru. Again, could be YouTube, could be TikTok, could be Facebook, could be any platform you want, could be all the platforms, Instagram, everything. Make yourself the guru is the most important part, and do it consistently, okay? Lots of people post one thing on Facebook and they don't get any, nothing comes of it, so they stop. Well, it didn't work. Well, they didn't really apply themselves to that practice, and that's why it didn't work for them. The people who are, let's say TikTok famous or whatever it is, are the people who kept going. They did the videos, they got 1 like, they got 1 share, then they got 2, then they got 3, then they got 10, they got 12, and they grew it and grew it and grew it. Okay, it's not a one-time thing, so don't think that it's gonna be. Any of this stuff has to be a persistence. And again, persistence always overcomes resistance. Ask for referrals from friends and family, all right? You have to ask for the business, guys. They're not just gonna assume that they can send you all the business. Sometimes people will look right past you. And I just ran into, as a matter of fact, yesterday I had a phone call with a client who wanted to buy a house, or actually was thinking about selling their house. They had put in an offer with another agent that morning to buy a house. I had helped these people sell a house previously. I was under the impression they understood that I take care of things A to Z. I can help you buy, I can help you sell, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm on the phone with her and she says, yeah, we're thinking about selling, but if we don't get the contract on this house, then we're not gonna sell it. Okay, you put a contract on a house? Yeah, this morning. We have put an offer in. Okay, with who? Oh, with the XYZ agent. Okay, any reason you didn't call me to have me help you with that? And she's like, oh, I didn't know, I thought you just did listings. My fault, right? That's a real life example of me not conveying to my customer that I do it all. And if I don't do it all, I've got people within my office that can help me, right? Missed opportunity. I didn't ask her for her business. I apparently didn't do a good job following up and making sure that they knew what it was that I did, right? My fault. This is happening with your customers right now, I promise you, right? Somebody in your life doesn't know that you're in real estate or that you do listings. They think that, they hear things in the marketplace, they hear about buyer's agents and they hear about seller's agents. These people, I sold a $400,000 house for them in Middletown. Beautiful home, did a beautiful job for them. They had nothing but great things to say about me, and as a matter of fact, they called me back to tell me we might be selling our house if we get the buy on this next one. My fault. I know now, right? A day late and a dollar short. So my name's not on that contract. Hopefully I'll be able to sell their house for them, you know what I mean? Real life example, guys. Ask for the referral. Ask for it. Be vocal, okay? Be, we'll skip past that. Home shows. Home shows are a great opportunity, especially coming up in the spring market. There's typically a home show. There is one coming up with the Chamber of Commerce And home shows are basically where you rent a booth and you put out a table with some information on it, and you take and you explain to people as they walk by what you do, how you do it, and answer any questions they may have. That's kind of the gist of that. Home shows are a great way to drum up some business, okay? And typically, home shows will be visited by people who are thinking about buying, and hopefully maybe they've got something to sell as well. So, all right, next one. So that's your listing stuff. Now guys, that is not every single way to ever generate business, but that is a great example, a good list of ways to generate business. And again, we're gonna do sub-trainings on a lot of those different topics. We're gonna do individual trainings on some of those various topics, okay, where we can dive in a little bit more deeply. So you're gonna see here, a lot of this is almost the same thing, because at the end of the day, sellers, buyers are people, okay? So a lot of these very same things go with a lot of the very same bullet points here. So working with buyers, increasing your visibility with buyers and working with them. Friends and family, we already talked about that, guys. You know, statistically speaking, 7% of people are considering buying or selling right now, okay? So that's a true statistic. NAR put that out, I think last quarter maybe. We talked about it in one of our meetings. 7% of the world, the United States, I'm sorry, is thinking about buying or selling right now. If you have 100 contacts in your phone, you have 7 deals laying in the weeds there, okay? Now, if you have 10 family members who all have 100 contacts in their phone, that's 70 deals laying in the weeds, right? So we need to keep that in mind. So that's what it says here, approximately 7% of people are thinking about selling or buying, if not both, right now. 100 contacts in your phone, statistically you have 7 deals laying in the weeds, okay? Just talked about that. So friends and family, do not forget your friends and family and your past clients as well. Networking, talked about that. Networking is working. Guys, you have to be networking. Open houses, okay? Open houses, again, that's a great way to attract more buyers. The people that come to open houses are most likely buyers, but there's some sellers mixed in there too, all right? So people all the time come to my open houses, and I ask them every single time, are you working with a realtor? About 50% of them say, no, we're not. Okay, any reason? You start to ask the questions, any reason you're not? Okay, what would it take for me to be your representative? You see me here today as a professional. I've got secured the listing here, you know, or I'm working, the listing agent here trusts me enough to allow me the opportunity to have an open house at his listing, right? And so if that guy can trust me, don't you think you can? Is kind of where that would go, right? So open houses, office floor time, okay? So you can come to the office and sit here. We haven't actually established a schedule for that yet. We haven't really seen a lot of interest from agents is the only reason we haven't done that. But if you're here and somebody comes walking in the door, that's basically a free lead for you, right? That's somebody walked in the door and said, hey, I want to buy. And we do have people, it's kind of random, we don't know when they're going to do it, or they call in, you know what I mean? But there are absolutely people that walk in the office and call in and want to speak to somebody about buying or selling, okay? So take leads, okay? So we currently buy leads. Mike takes and converts them, hands them out. But we're actually going to have pond leads coming here soon. So this is a coming soon thing. It's just going to basically be what we call a pond would be a pile of leads that never converted. They never answered their phone for whatever reason. But these are still opportunities. These are still people who expressed an interest in buying or selling a house at some point, right? And so we know that at least the thought's there. And these are leads that, you know, you can basically kind of dig through and sort through, and there's inevitably going to be a deal laying in there somewhere. You can buy your own leads, okay? You can go to realtor.com, you can go to Zillow, you can go anywhere in the world, Google, and you can buy leads. There's a million resources for it. And you can say, you know what, I'm going to increase my own business. I'm going to buy my own leads, right? Typically, you're going to be buying buyer leads, not seller leads. So typically, there are some sellers mixed in there. Again, home shows, social media, join a team, okay? So there's real estate teams that are buying leads right now, and we're currently trying to attract real estate teams. We're actually formatting our first team here So that's kind of in the works. But you can always join a team and get leads that way and get working experience, working knowledge that way as well. Getting involved in local community events, leadership roles. Okay, so for instance, Cub Scouts. Let's say you have a son. He's going to Cub Scouts each week. You can be the parent that sits on the sideline and watches little Johnny build his Pinewood Derby car, or you can be the parent out there with the saw and the paint and the numbers and whatever it is, the hot glue gun or whatever, helping the kids actually do it, right? Getting involved. So there's inherent value to being involved with organizations. It could be a church, it could be a sporting group, it could be Boy Scouts, it could be any number of things, but getting involved puts you front and center in the community, right? Boards and committees, okay? So we're talking about farming. One of the things that I really think that a technique that could really work well for a farming situation would be to kind of tie yourself in with the HOA, the homeowners association in that community, and help organize things like community yard sales, right? So I'm gonna give you a scenario. You go into a community, you get involved with the HOA, you help establish a date for a community yard sale where there's a tract of 100 homes, and you're going to help organize the one day this year that everybody's gonna pull their belongings out and sit in front of their house in the open, right? And then on that day, you show up and you just go around the neighborhood and introduce yourself. Hi, Ron, I'm Doug Gallagher. I hope you're enjoying, hope you're getting a lot of your things sold today. I actually helped the board organize this event. And so, just basically, now Ron's kind of a sitting duck for me. I don't need to go knock on Ron's door and make it awkward. He's out in his front yard sitting next to his favorite, what used to be his favorite lawnmower until he bought the zero turn this year, right? So now he's selling the old lawnmower. He's ready to offload it, right? And so I can go talk to him about his lawnmower as if I'm interested about it, but I can also introduce myself and let him know that I'm the one that helped organize this, and here's my card, Ron. I help people buy and sell. Please, let me know if you know anybody in the area thinking of buying or selling.
Captain Body.
Right, you've got them. Yep, they're sitting right there in their front yard. You own this home, Ron? Yeah, I do. I wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't, right? So, and again, sports teams, guys. So that's just an example. That's just one example. Chamber of Commerce. This is buyers and sellers. We didn't put this on this seller side, but the Chamber of Commerce is a great way to network, okay? It's an opportunity to network. I think it's important that you don't just go to the Chamber of Commerce events and try to hand out 100 business cards. My suggestion, what I tend to do is I take 2 or 3 business cards and I try to have 2 or 3 meaningful conversations, okay? If you go and you hand your business card to every single person at the Chamber of Commerce, that's what we call littering, because those cards are gonna be on the floor at the end of the night, right? Nobody cares. Don't just do that, all right? Vendor bulletin boards. Time and time again, you walk into Wawa, there's a community board there. You walk into any number of places, and there's typically a bulletin board where you can post anything that you got coming up. If you go and you post your business card on that bulletin board, they're probably gonna take it down. If you go and you post the community yard sale for the neighborhood that you're currently farming, they're probably not gonna take that down until after that date expires, okay? So make sure that the content that you place in the public eye is tasteful and to the benefit of the public, okay? Don't be selfish. Don't just put your card up you can just put your card up on the board. That's fine. In an area, especially given like our office where we give you an opportunity to put your card on the board, that's exactly what you should do. But in a community sense at Wawa, for the good of the people, it's not necessarily you. They want to know about the community yard sale that you helped organize, okay? The fundraising event for your hockey team, right? For the Boy Scouts or whatever it is, okay? So that's the kind of stuff that I would be putting on vendor bulletin boards. You could customize your own website, okay? You could do something like that and then promote it through any channel, and community events as well, okay? So back to the community events, we already talked about that. All right, so the name On the Move Realty pays homage to the fact that laying in bed and being unsocial are not going to gain you anything, okay? Distancing from the public will not help your real estate business. Shaking hands and introducing yourself to a new community and networking will grow your business, all right? So I joke with people, and again, here's that same quote: persistence always overcomes resistance, right? the guy who put something on Facebook one time and said it doesn't work. That's not persistence, all right? Persistence is the guy that's on his 100th post and he's got 10 likes instead of 1, all right? That's persistence. He keeps doing it because he knows somewhere in there this is gonna catch and he's gonna jump from 10 to 10,000, right? Those are the people who are winning. Persistence always overcomes resistance. That's a guarantee. You have to be persistent. And I joke with people all the time, and they say, On the Move Realty, you guys, you really done a lot for me, Doug. I really appreciate all your hard work. And I say, hey, it's On the Move Realty, not Lay in Bed Realty, right? This is what we're doing. It's on the move, okay? On the Move insinuates we're active, we're doing things. We're doing it a little bit different. Guys, there are 1,500 other agents in this county laying in bed still, drinking their first cup of coffee, watching TV, watching the news, doom and gloom right now, okay? You're already up, you're already at it. Get out there and hustle, make moves, make mistakes, because that's how we learn. Fix it, do it again, make some more mistakes, learn some more, be persistent, and overcome the resistance. And I guarantee you, you'll see your real estate business grow. So that's really it for today, guys. Any questions, any ideas or thoughts of how you might increase your business that we didn't talk about? No? Joanne, hey Sir May, Kevin, good to see you guys. Anybody have any questions?
Hey, I did, sorry, I was trying to unmute with vlogs. So, question about the community boards. I didn't even really think about that. What if you put something like along the lines of, I don't know, like how do I explain it? Like to try to gain listings in regards to something along the lines like for free estimate, call this number. Do you think they would take something down like that? I haven't actually thought out exactly how I would word it or anything.
Sure. Yeah. So I feel like Wawa would probably. I feel like everywhere you go, at some point they're going to take it down. So I don't think that you can just do it one time and it'll always be there and last forever. I feel like if it's tastefully done and it's for the benefit of the public, it's not all about you know what I mean, or your company. It's more about like, hey, if you're thinking about buying or selling, make sure I'm offering a discount or some incentive or something like that. I feel like that would win over more fans than I'm the best realtor ever. This is why you should call me. You know what I mean? So if you can come with an offer, I feel like it would go over better. But I also think that you should follow back up and stop in every once in a while and make sure if you did leave a pile of cards that there's still a few there, or if you did have a flyer on the, they're going to probably go through once a month and just take everything off of that board generically.
Yeah.
Right? And then that way more people can put new updated stuff up there. So.
Yeah, so I have something to say about that. So I was actually at this pretty fancy restaurant a few months ago, and I think it was right on the line down south.
Okay.
And so I went to the restroom. Right when you walk out of the restroom, the first thing you see is a huge bulletin board with just business cards on it.
Okay.
So I put up a business card. So I feel like that's a good example when you go to restaurants like that to kind of look around and see if there's any opportunities. Because I didn't think that there was going to be a wall of business cards. I didn't even see it when I went into the bathroom. I saw it it's right in front of your face when you walk out. So.
Yep. And
everybody uses the bathroom at a restaurant for the
Sure.
most part.
Yeah.
Just wash their hands, to go to the bathroom.
Yep.
So.
And I think I think that it's important to understand that if you never revisit that restaurant, some other realtor somewhere is going to take your card off that wall and put their card in its place.
Yeah, so I actually couldn't find a pin, and there was another realtor on there, so I took theirs off and put mine up.
Exactly, right? So that's the human in you, right? It's not, it's competition.
Theirs was still there. I put it down, I just kind of tucked it down, and I was like, I'm going to pick mine up.
Okay, so, but that's inherently what you're up against in the marketplace, right? And so
my card's gone.
Courtney's not a vengeful person. She's not out here to demean anybody else, but she needed a push pin, and some poor other realtor had unfortunately left for the day and left his post, and Courtney utilized his push pin for hers. You know what I mean? And so I'm not saying go out there and be mean about it, guys, but I'm saying that's the real world. That's how this stuff works. And so if you never revisit that restaurant, then your card is probably not going to remain on that wall. Now, if you make it a point to frequent that restaurant, what you could do is build rapport with the waiters, get to know the wait staff, make sure you tip them well, things of that nature. This is straight out of 7 levels of communication. You'll walk into a place like that. Now you have meetings in a place like that. And I don't know, I'm going to credit Rob Shaner for this. I go into restaurants with Rob Shaner and the dude's a celebrity. I don't know how he does it, but every time I walk into a restaurant with him, he knows everybody on a first name basis, and we get the best service you'll ever get. Like you have to tip extra because you're with Rob Shaner. You know what I mean? Like it's just like you got that good of service. But if I'm going out, that's the service I want anyways, right? And so credit to him, they all know him. They all know what he does. They know him on a first name basis. He knows them on a first name basis. They don't mess his order up, so he doesn't have to deal with that. He gets great service every time he's out. And these waiters and waitresses are talking to hundreds of people a day. Hundreds of tables a day coming in there. And they overhear conversations about, well, when we moved to the area, or maybe they card them for a drink. Maybe they order an alcoholic beverage and they card them and they see that it's a Pennsylvania or a New York or a New Jersey license, right? And they can have a conversation and say, oh, are you moving to the area? Oh, listen, I know a great lender for your house. He helped me buy my house, And so therefore it's an opportunity. And so 7 Levels Communication is a great book. It's written by a real estate agent for real estate agents, and it is 100% about how to increase your business and how to communicate better with your clients and more efficiently. And it's a great read, and I suggest you all take an opportunity to at least listen to it on audiobook. But yes, Joanne, that is a great way to do it. So thank you for your question there. Anybody else? Sir May? No?
No, not at the time.
Okay, cool. Thank you for jumping on the call. I really appreciate that. Hopefully, guys, this is helpful for you. Again, this is just our rendition of this. We could do an entire another slideshow of other ways to create more business and more opportunity for your business. That being said, I suggest to you to go out there and find other ways to do it, because then you're kind of being more innovative. This is like the low-hanging fruit. This is the stuff that I could come up with, while I was driving down the road and just, putting things in my notes. But if you dig deep, guys, this is a people business. If you dig deep, you can find 1,000 additional ways to do the very same thing. And you'll probably find a way that nobody else has thought of yet. And that's what we do in this industry, is innovate and keep ourselves relevant. But again, it's a people business. If you're shy and standoffish and you're staying at home, it's not going to work in your favor. I promise you. Be the first to make contact. When you get on the bus and you sit down next to somebody, or where, maybe you don't ride the bus, but I mean, just as an example, it was explained to me one time by one of the best networkers I know, previous real estate broker of mine. He said, if I get on the bus and I sit down next to somebody, the longer I wait to say something to them, the more awkward it's going to be. So he's like, so I just go ahead and say something right away. Hey, how you doing? And immediately I invoke a reaction. It might be, and they might turn their head away and look out the window. That's fine. You know what I mean? Not the person to communicate with. But it might be, oh, hey, how are you? What do you do? It might lead to a conversation where you're actually engaging and potentially even selling this individual a home. So squeaky wheel gets the grease, guys. Go out there and squeak. All right?
I just feel like it's a little hard right now because we're back to mask. Like, I always remember with that people, and I'm just like, I feel like I can't because I'm like stranded by a mask now.
Yeah, well, you know what? I was watching a Tom Ferry video the other day, and he was interviewing 3 of his top listing clients, and every single one of them were knocking doors right now. They said, even with COVID, they're out there, they're knocking doors, they're talking with people, and these people have been so secluded that they're meeting at their home, that they're finding that they're actually really glad to have somebody to talk to. A lot of these people haven't gone anywhere. So they're putting their masks on, and they're going out, and they're doing the things that we know work, right? And they're finding that they're being very successful with those old techniques, such as just meeting people face to face. So of course you don't want to crowd the door. Of course you don't want to make them uncomfortable. Maybe you leave a seat between you and that individual on the bus. That's 100% okay, especially given today's, what's going on in the world today. But at the end of the day, guys, People buy from people. They know, like, and trust, especially. All right. So don't be shy.
Yeah.
And if you meet opposition, you know, you got to be persistent. So just because Ron tells me no, doesn't mean that's a no forever. That's a no for today, right? I'm gonna follow back up with
I
Ron.
pulled out my mask that says, I need your listings, I sold online.
There you go. There it is right there, right? I need your listings. I sold all mine. You can customize these masks to say any number of things you want, and that's a great idea, right? Also, you know, if you're gonna go to Starbucks, right? You're just gonna go to Starbucks and have a coffee, and you're gonna pull your laptop out and do a little bit of work while you're there. You'll hear, I've heard this from 100 different people. Put a sticker on the back of your computer that says, I love real estate. Ask me about real estate, or any other number of things. Get a shirt that says, ask me about real estate. And you'd be surprised how many people will ask you about real estate, right? But you have to wear it, you have to do it, and you have to do it more than once. And sometimes these things are foreign to us and they feel a little silly. I've gone to houses, literally, when I first started knocking doors, and been, you know, like, get off my porch, I don't want to talk to you. And that individual on that day was not in the present mind to have a conversation with me about real estate. But I kept on putting one foot in front of the other, kept on knocking doors, and I'm telling you, I went from 4 sales to 15 sales in my second year by simply knocking doors. So, you know, it's there, it works. All right, guys? Thanks. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on the call. Look forward to the next one.